Grace to you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm Father Steve Summers, and thank you so much for being with us today for my brief daily message of hope and inspiration. And I always do hope and pray that you're off to a good start wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And even if you're just like most of us in isolation for several more weeks, that you're doing it with a joy in your heart. And maybe I can help with that. And I want to come in to that in a roundabout way. I got a sort of a plaintive text from a former student who was very concerned about what he was feeling in his deep in his emotions over being isolated for so long. And he made the comments to Dr. Summers, I feel like there's some invisible hand that is moving me around against my will, and things are happening that are out of my control, and I feel horrible about it. And I don't know why God would do that to me. And my response was, well, you're reading from the wrong book. He was basing his idea of how God interacts with us, and he knows better than this, on a book that was written probably 1,100 years ago, at least 1,000 years ago, by one of the most brilliant people who ever lived. Omar Khayyam was a mathematician, a scientist, a scholar, a prolific writer. His works in Persian were translated into English in 1859 by the Englishman Edward Fitzgerald. We call it the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. And it's beautiful in places, but the theology is not very comforting, and indeed it's not Christian theology at all. But there's a quatrain in it that my student had stuck in his mind and thought this was what God was doing. And it says this, it's beautiful. 'Tis all a checkerboard of nights and days, where fate with people for pieces plays. Hither and thither moves and mates and slays, then one by one back in the basket lays. It's a beautiful quatrain, but it's horrible theology. God doesn't treat us like pieces on a checkerboard, moving us around by force against our will. He doesn't treat us that way. And even beyond that, the pandemic we're going through right now is not a game. And it's certainly not God wreaking vengeance on humanity, like some say. This is one of the times of pestilences and famine and drought that comes upon the world. Scripture talks about that. God doesn't treat us any differently. He loves us with his whole heart. And so the idea that somehow we're forced into this situation where God has turned his back on us is just simply not true. Jesus promised us that he's with us always to the very end of the age. I checked the computer this morning. It's not the end of the age yet. People have thought it was. People have thought that for 20 centuries or more, that the end of the age has come, and they've all been wrong. Only God knows when that is. But until that happens, Jesus said he's with us always, so he's with you. And not only that, but you still have the freedom to make choices, and good people sometimes make bad choices. That's why we need God's help. That's why it's so important to stay connected to God. As I reminded my student, say your prayers. Don't stop your prayers. Don't unplug yourself from the power source of your life. That's crazy to do that. Pray to God. Still follow his commandments are still in force. He still has a way for us to get to be in eternity with him by doing what he's asked us to do. And Jesus summarized the laws that God has given us by saying, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So while we're here, wherever we are, whatever we're not doing, while we're stranded at home, love God with all your heart. He's right there with you. He loves you. And you do that by loving your neighbor, love those around you. And it's not wrong to love yourself. But that's always in the third place. We love God first, we love others second, and we love ourselves third. It's a package deal. And know that God's with you all the way through this. And He's not moving you around on a checkerboard according to some whim. No, He's with you. He sent His Son to die on the cross for you. So He's with you always, even right now. So I hope you have a blessed day today. And remember, you've got a very powerful companion with you right now. God bless you.